Where in the world is Angel Reese? The so-called Bayou Barbie has suddenly vanished from the WNBA spotlight, and fans aren't buying the excuses anymore. Officially, the Chicago Sky claim it's a back injury. But if that's true, why the silence? Why the mystery? Why has one of the loudest and flashiest stars in women's basketball suddenly gone completely quiet? For weeks now, Angel Reese hasn't been on the court. Hasn't been clapping back at the haters, hasn't even been spotted courtside, and every day she's gone, the speculation only grows louder. Did she quit on her teammates? Is this really about her health, or is there something much deeper going on behind closed doors? Insiders are whispering about locker room tension, coaching shakeups, and a franchise that's already falling apart. Meanwhile, the Chicago Sky keep racking up brutal losses, and fans are demanding answers. If Angel Reese truly is injured, why not show face? Why not support her team? Why not speak up? Tonight, we peel back the curtain. Was this injury real, or just the perfect cover-up for a superstar who's already done with the WNBA? Stay locked in, because the truth behind Angel Reese's disappearance is darker than you think. For months, Angel Reese has been one of the most talked about names in women's basketball. From her unforgettable college rivalry with Caitlin Clark, to the bold fashion statements, the viral press conferences, and the self-proclaimed title of Bayou Barbie, Reese carved out an identity far bigger than her stat sheet. She was marketed as the face of a new WNBA-era player who could not only perform, but also sell tickets, grab headlines, and draw in casual fans. But somewhere between the hype and the hardwood, something went wrong. After entering the WNBA with massive expectations, Reese's rookie campaign with the Chicago Sky quickly turned rocky. The franchise was already struggling, and while Angel put up numbers, her team kept losing. Still, she was everywhere on social media, in highlight reels, in interviews. Reese knew how to stay relevant even when her team wasn't, and then silence. Over the past several weeks, Angel Reese has been largely absent from the court. The official explanation: a lingering back injury. But that's where the confusion begins. Because instead of transparency, the Sky and Reese herself have given fans very little. No clear medical updates. No public statements. No visible support for her team from the sidelines. Just a vanishing act. For someone who thrives on attention, Reese's sudden disappearance feels suspicious. Some insiders point out that she's played only 3 games in the past month, losing all of them by an average margin of nearly 20 points. Critics wonder, did Reese see the writing on the wall? Did she realize this season was a lost cause, and decide to step away before her brand took another hit? Meanwhile, others argue this really could be a legitimate injury. Back problems can linger, especially for taller athletes who carry heavy workloads. They can flare up suddenly, keep a player sidelined for weeks, and even threaten careers if mismanaged. But if that's the case, why the lack of clarity? Why no rehab updates, no team reassurance, no timeline? The silence from both Reese and the Sky is fueling speculation. Is she protecting her brand? Is she clashing with coaches or teammates? Or is this simply a case of a young star struggling to adjust to the grind of professional basketball? What's clear is this: Angel Reese's disappearance comes at the worst possible time for the WNBA. With Caitlin Clark sidelined, the league desperately needs storylines, rivalries, and stars to keep mainstream attention alive. Reese could have been that star. Instead, her absence is only raising more questions and threatening to expose cracks not just in her career, but in the WNBA's shaky foundation. Angel Reese's disappearance isn't just a story about one player, it's exposing cracks in how the WNBA operates, how franchises communicate, and how much truth fans are really being told. The official word is back injury. Day-to-day, nothing to see here, but anyone watching closely knows this doesn't add up. Let's start with the basics. Angel hasn't just missed games, she's missed being present. Other stars with injuries, like Caitlin Clark or even veteran leaders across the league, show up. They sit on the bench, travel with the team, hype up their teammates. It's about responsibility. Fans who buy tickets deserve to at least see their stars, even if they can't play. But Reese, no sign, no travel, no locker room presence. That's where the first red flag appears. Her absence raises an uncomfortable question. Is this truly an injury, or is it a brand protection strategy? Reese built her reputation on winning first at LSU, where she delivered a national championship, and then in her first professional months, where ESPN and social media hyped up every rebound, every streak, every Bayou Barbie moment. But when the sky started collapsing, and the losses piled up, the image of Angel Reese as a champion began to crack. Every defeat became a stain on the brand. And suddenly, she was gone. Here's the twist nobody wants to say out loud. Maybe Angel Reese didn't quit on basketball. Maybe she's trying to save her marketability, because in today's sports world, brand power often matters more than box scores. Why take the court for a struggling team, risk ugly stat lines, and fuel critics when you can sit out, control the narrative, and wait for better circumstances? But if that's true, then it's a dangerous game. Fans are smart. They can tell when something doesn't smell right. And already, the whispers are spreading. She doesn't care about basketball. She only cares about fame. That reputation, once cemented, is nearly impossible to shake. Just ask players before her who were accused of chasing celebrity over sport. There's also the WNBA's role in this drama. The league desperately needs stars. They push narratives, they protect certain players, and they often blur the lines of transparency. We've seen it before. Day-to-day injuries stretched out for weeks, vague statements instead of hard facts. Why? Because ticket sales, sponsorships, and national TV ratings are on the line. If the public knew that Angel Reese might miss the rest of the season, or worse, didn't want to play, it could hurt the league's momentum. So instead, the silence continues. The conflict isn't just Angel Reese versus her critics. It's Angel Reese versus the truth. Is she really hurt, or is this an image management move gone wrong? And in protecting herself, is she actually damaging the very brand she's trying to save? The first twist comes here. Angel Reese's absence may not just be about her. It's also about the WNBA's survival strategy. If stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, the faces of the league, are both out at the same time, even for different reasons, then the WNBA loses its storylines, its momentum, and its fight to stay in the mainstream. Which means what looks like a back injury could actually be part of a bigger, more uncomfortable truth. The league is willing to protect narratives at all costs, even if that means leaving fans in the dark. The mystery surrounding Angel Reese's absence didn't just stay in the locker room, it blew up into a full-blown media storm. Sports talk shows, social media threads, and even former WNBA players all started weighing in. At first, the story was handled with sympathy. She must be dealing with a real injury, give her time. But as the days turned into weeks, with zero appearances, zero updates, and zero clarity, sympathy turned into suspicion. The Chicago Sky front office only made things worse. Their vague statements, "She's resting, she'll be evaluated soon," sounded less like medical updates and more like carefully scripted PR. The WNBA itself doubled down, staying silent while pushing other narratives around Caitlin Clark in the New York Liberty. It felt almost strategic, like they wanted Angel Reese to fade out of the spotlight quietly without sparking more backlash. But fans weren't buying it. Here's where the escalation hits hard. Former teammates and coaches started hinting at tension behind closed doors. One assistant coach, speaking off record, described the situation as a clash between star power and team reality. Translation: Reese wasn't just injured, she was frustrated. Frustrated with losing. Frustrated with being blamed. Frustrated with a franchise that didn't match her ambitions. That frustration may have boiled over into a silent standoff. Either she steps back until the sky changes direction, or she risks tanking her reputation as a winner by staying on a sinking ship. And then came the shocking reveal that made fans' jaws drop. Reports surfaced suggesting Reese had been in Los Angeles during part of her injury absence, not rehabbing in Chicago. Not with her team, but networking, attending brand events, and meeting with business managers. Photos of her spotted courtside at non-WNBA events went viral, fueling the narrative that her priorities weren't on basketball. The official injury report suddenly felt like a cover story, not the truth. This was the moment the conversation shifted. No longer was it about whether she was physically capable of playing, it was about whether she even wanted to. Fans began comparing her to other young stars who had been accused of chasing celebrity over sport. Memes spread, Bayou Barbie goes Hollywood. Critics piled on, calling her a brand first, baller second. And yet, for Reese, this shocking reveal might have been calculated. Every appearance at a high-profile event, every headline event, the negative ones kept her name buzzing. In a way, disappearing from the court while amplifying her public image gave her more power than grinding through losses with the Sky ever could. But this strategy carries enormous risk. Because in sports, credibility is everything. Once fans believe you've abandoned your team, it's nearly impossible to win them back. The shocking reveal wasn't just about Reese's absence, it was about the dangerous gamble. She's playing with her entire career. One wrong move, and the Bayou Barbie might become the league's biggest cautionary tale. The moment Angel Reese's absence and off-court appearances hit the public eye, the reactions were instant and divided almost like a cultural earthquake, shaking both fans and industry insiders. On one side, her loyal supporters defended her fiercely. "She doesn't owe anyone her body," one fan tweeted, racking up thousands of likes. Others pointed out that young stars like Caitlin Clark had the full support of the league's marketing machine, while Reese had been forced to carry the burden of criticism. For these fans, Reese's break wasn't selfish, it was necessary, a moment of self-preservation against a system that was grinding her down. But the critics were louder. Pundits on ESPN and Fox Sports took turns dissecting her every move. One commentator sneered, "You can't build a WNBA brand from Instagram posts and red carpets. At some point, you've got to play." The narrative of injury or attitude dominated sports talk cycles, with some analysts flat out accusing her of faking. That skepticism trickled down to casual fans, who began mocking her absence with memes and viral TikToks. Inside the WNBA, the industry reaction was even sharper. Rival players, many of whom had fought tooth and nail for their positions, without the luxury of nil deals or massive endorsement contracts, saw Reese's absence as a dangerous precedent. If one rookie star could step away under the guise of injury while keeping her spotlight, what stopped others from doing the same? One veteran player even vented anonymously, "We can't afford divas in this league. Not when we're still fighting for respect." Sponsors, however, faced a dilemma. Reese's brand, the Bayou Barbie, was gold. Her social media engagement rivaled veteran WNBA stars, and her fashion-forward, outspoken personality brought in audiences who didn't usually watch women's basketball. For companies invested in her image, silence was the best strategy. They didn't cut ties, but they didn't amplify her either. They simply waited, calculating whether her next move would cement her as an icon or sink her as a controversy. Even coaches and executives reacted cautiously. The Chicago Sky tried to toe the line, issuing statements that were deliberately vague, but off the record, insiders whispered that the relationship between Reese and the franchise was strained beyond repair. If true, this meant her absence wasn't just about injury or even rest, it was about leverage. Reese may have been using her visibility, her fan base, and her marketability as bargaining chips to force the Sky into making changes, or risk losing her entirely. And then came the fans' split-screen reality. In the same week, Chicago Sky games saw dips in attendance without Reese. Her Instagram live sessions and red carpet appearances drew hundreds of thousands of views. This stark contrast highlighted a brutal truth: the WNBA needed her star power just as much as she needed the league. The public and industry reactions revealed one thing. Clearly, Angel Reese wasn't just another player missing games. She had become a flashpoint in the conversation about power, image, and control in women's sports. And every reaction, whether supportive or critical, only made the story bigger. Just when it seemed like the Angel Reese saga had reached its peak, a shocking twist flipped the entire story upside down. For weeks, the whispers had centered around whether Reese was truly injured or simply clashing with the Chicago Sky organization. But then, leaked reports surfaced suggesting something even bigger. Reese had been approached quietly by a rival WNBA team, one ready to build their franchise around her if she decided to walk away from Chicago. This revelation hit like a bomb. If true, it would explain everything: the vague statements from the Sky, Reese's mysterious silence, and her decision to appear more in fashion and entertainment spaces than in basketball arenas. To insiders, it looked less like an injury break and more like a chess move. Angel Reese wasn't vanishing, she was positioning. But that wasn't the only twist. Around the same time, Reese posted a cryptic Instagram story, a photo of her in rewear, no caption, just the words, "New Beginnings," splashed across the screen. Fans went wild. Was she hinting at leaving the Sky? Or was this another calculated move to keep everyone guessing? Meanwhile, Chicago media reported growing tension within the franchise itself. One insider claimed that certain teammates felt blindsided by Reese's absence and growing off-court fame. "This isn't college anymore," the source said. "You can't just disappear and expect us to hold it down forever." And yet, the cliffhanger deepened when a WNBA executive was quoted anonymously, saying, "If Angel Reese walks, the league loses one of its brightest young stars. But if she stays, the drama might follow her everywhere. The stage was set for a showdown. Would Angel Reese return to the Sky, silencing her critics and proving her worth on the court? Or would she take the ultimate gamble, leveraging her fame, her brand, and her fanbase to rewrite the rules of women's basketball stardom? No one knew the answer. But one thing was undeniable: Angel Reese's next move would either cement her legacy as the future of the WNBA, or mark the beginning of her downfall, and the world is still waiting. The Angel Reese mystery has reached a breaking point. Fans, media, and even league insiders are left stunned, asking the same burning question. Is this the story of an injured young star fighting to recover? Or is it the story of a player rewriting the rules of fame in the WNBA? But here's the reality: this isn't just about one athlete. This is about how far sports stars can go in controlling their own narratives. It's about whether loyalty to a team and its fans still matters, in an era where celebrity power can outweigh on-court performance. And most importantly, it's about accountability. If the league wants to grow, its brightest names can't simply vanish without answers. This is why your voice matters. The WNBA doesn't operate in silence, the fans drive the conversation. If you believe Angel Reese owes transparency to her team, her fans, and the league, now is the time to speak up. If you think she's being unfairly targeted and deserves space to heal and protect her brand, this is your chance to defend her. The choice is yours. Do you see Angel Reese as a victim of media pressure, or as a superstar playing chess with the entire basketball world? Either way, history is being written right now, and the outcome will shape not just Reese's career, but the entire future of women's basketball. So don't just watch the headlines. Be part of the story. Comment your take, debate it with fans, and make your voice heard. Because when the dust settles, one thing is certain: Angel Reese's next move will shake the WNBA forever.